So should we call the meeting to order?
Yes, ma'am.
What time is it? 1:30. 1:30 exactly? Oh, 1:38. 1:38. Are there any public comments?
No, ma'am.
No. So I was just looking up, a couple of notes that I wanted to share with you from a meeting that I attended with the Texas Department of Agriculture. Sid Miller was there, his deputy commissioner, assistant commissioner was there, and talked about food deserts, and LCUAS was front and center. We described what LCUAS does, how we're approaching food desert issues through a healthy food system and looking at production in many different ways. We talked a little bit about how it's all related, and at the end of the day, the economic development and making sure there's a prosperity aspect to what we're doing. And they were very, they pretty much said, well, you're doing what you need to be doing. Did you know that there's a bill going through the Senate right now? It's being, I think it's being brought forth by,
This meeting.
in Austin, the Department of Agriculture. I'm sorry, but I'm like scrolling down my notes here, and I'm trying to get you the full notes of who was, okay, here it is. So, there is funding available through the Department of Ag grant programs. There's a young farmers grant that I know somebody mentioned at the farmers market they were applying for. It's the people who do the mushroom thing. We should probably reach out to them and see where they are. There's two bills going through the legislation right now. 758 and 759. Senator West, who's a Democrat, is bringing them forward. And it's essentially to create a secure food system council for the state of Texas, which looks at all the things we're looking at. So, they're also creating a office, a secure food system office, and that's one bill, and the other bill is to actually create a council that would deal with the different factors. And as you know, it's different for every part of the state. I mean, our issues are different from other cities, and so there is no one fix-it answer. If there were, it already been, put in place. So everything that we're trying to do is, one layer on top of another layer on top of another layer. But it's great to know that the state is, hopefully this bill will pass, and I'm in the process of finding out how to, support it. Like, what do we need to do, right? To send in letters of support, go speak up there, whatever it is. The Department of Agriculture is in support. I don't know much more than that, but it was really good to hear, especially because there were City of Laredo officials there, and they were also hearing that we are ahead of the curve here because we've already established this organization, and it's a local government corporation, which, by the way, that was another thing that was in the bill. The bill would support economic development tools where food is concerned, production is concerned. And it mentioned any organization that is, I forget the exact wording, that was created under the Texas Transportation Department. Ringing bells? So, that's LCUAS. It was created in the Texas Transportation Department as a local government corporation. So they're, they're, they're looking at how to use these tools to be able to create better and more secure food systems in the state. Good news. What else did they say? Said Miller, very interesting man. He was very he knew backwards and forwards everything that was going on in terms of agriculture in Texas, and he also said we talked about the idea of. So this is not for food production, but it's we have this incredible port, which he was just talking about this incredible port that we have, right? And how upset he was. It was closed for a week, and then we lost $4 billion worth of when it got closed, and we all remember. So it was really cool. But we mentioned the idea of capturing food as it crosses, food and foodstuffs like cereals and wheat and grain and all that stuff, capturing it at the port so that there could be a kind of a refrigerated wholesaler's place, right, where people could go buy whatever comes through. And they said, yes, have you thought about doing a duty-free zone just for that wholesale food hub? Could be at the World Trade Bridge or at the airport or whatever. Obviously, it's better at the bridge. And, I thought it was really, we'll stick it into the 5-year plan of the Food Policy Council. These all seem very real, nothing this is kind of too much of a moonshot for you guys. It was really good to hear that they were taking these things on. So, Texas Ag Cooperative, people could go buy whatever. What else did they say? Said Miller, very interesting man. He was very he knew backwards and forwards everything that was going on in terms of agriculture in Texas, and he also said we talked about the idea of. So this is not for food production, but it's we have this incredible port, which he was just talking about this incredible port that we have, right? And how upset he was. It was closed for a week, and then we lost $4 billion worth of when it got closed, and we all remember. So it was really cool. But we mentioned the idea of capturing food as it crosses, food and foodstuffs like cereals and wheat and grain and all that stuff, capturing it at the port so that there could be a kind of a refrigerated wholesaler's place, right, where people could go buy whatever comes through. And they said, yes, have you thought about doing a duty-free zone just for that wholesale food hub? Could be at the World Trade Bridge or at the airport or whatever. Obviously, it's better at the bridge. And, I thought it was really, we'll stick it into the 5-year plan of the Food Policy Council. These all seem very real, nothing this is kind of too much of a moonshot for you guys. It was really good to hear that they were taking these things on. So, Texas Ag Cooperatives, which I thought this is a great thing for LCUAS can help with the farmer's market in terms of doing food cooperatives. And it's not just food. In the state they were talking about, it's like implements and all sorts of different things. It's small producers and sellers come together and they form a cooperative. And there was a fellow here from the local food cooperative that they were trying to do it. I forgot his name.
At the
Anyway,
last
he was
meeting.
here 2 meetings ago. Anyway, so it would be great to reach out and talk to your vendors about the idea of the food court. And I'll send you the link of how you start one in the state. I mean, it's like fairly, everything devils in the detail, but at least the programs are there. Anyways, that's it for me. Yeah, that's it. Next.
I guess it's me, and I will cover basically the same thing with the 501c3 application has been filed with the state by our attorney. We are still pending some minor details that Bobby got the email on just yesterday when he sent it to us. So other than that, I think we're just in a wait and see mode right now. So we've never gotten to this point. So this is a real win for us to actually become a 501c3. So this is a very nice attorney, Andy Guardiola. I didn't think he was going to get it done so fast.
Yeah. And he paid a lot of attention to details, which was really nice.
That's all I have left.
You want to give your report?
Yes, of course. I sent you my report earlier today. I'm going to go over it. Last week, we moved Brandon Lopez, a local Boy Scout that developed his Eagle Scout project with us at the garden. He got to the top 10 projects in the state, in the district, from 17 counties. His project got to the top 10. So a crew from Corpus Christi came to the garden and made an interview. They took some shots, and the video will be shown at the award ceremony next week. So that's a good news. That project was developed last year. This is from 2022, but the ceremony is next week. Some other upcoming activities. I got invited to participate at a podcast next week. The podcast is called What the Peck. It's a local podcast, so I'm going to be there. I got invited also to present at the Career Day in Ruiz Elementary in March 8th. We've been gardening. We've been participating at the farmers market for the last 3 months. We have great help from gardeners and volunteers. Even though it was cold and we thought we would have some problems, but our volunteers responded. Also, I want to thank Francisco, because he, on behalf of the South Texas Food Bank, donated 2 big boxes of seeds to the garden. We hosted the ceremony last week, on the 26th, I'm sorry, that when City Maker got the AEP grant. And we also had the Laredo Policy Council meeting last week here. We're also collaborating with 2 coalitions in the Prosperemos Juntos Thriving Communities grant, which will start in March. And yeah, I don't know the update of this 501c3 that Guillermo talked about. That's pretty much my report.
What was the project?
Well, we planted 18 trees that are next to the fence. Actually, Mr. Navarro worked with us together here. It was a parade between the Boy Scouts, Mr. Navarro, and us.
And where'd you get the trees from?
Mr. Navarro gave us the trees.
From our nursery.
We had some oranges, lemons, limes, Mexican limes, grapefruits. We have 18 trees. We wanted to make like a natural wall right next to the fence, and we just fertilized those trees in January. They're going.
Very cool.
So, if you would,
Mhm.
please, if you could separate those, notes that you have on your report based on these 6 things, as I tried to explain the last time, but put them under technical assistance and training and community supported agriculture. That's one heading. Source of produce for farmers market. That's another heading. And you write down everything that is underneath that. And then food policy council. That's another heading. You know, when you start, facilitating those, you can pass it on to me or I can give you notes for that. I wasn't at the last meeting, but, you were. So central hub for sustainable practices and environmental stewardship, you can put, you know, what you've done under that, and environmental, appropriate landscaping under that, partnering with the government or the city government in policy development and implementation. And you can say nothing to report if there's nothing to report, but, this is when you go to council, because you're gonna have to go to council soon and report on what LCUAS is doing, you wanna hit all those points, so you want all your notes to be that way. Which, I don't know if we need to do a vote, but, what do you all think about discussing a time and a date for a report to council on what LCUAS? They haven't heard from us since COVID.
No, ma'am, but on a biennial basis, we send them a report as we're an official City of Laredo committee. So Maria Clara and myself send him a report where we include all of his notes, every single agenda sign-in sheet, and that's sent to the city secretary. They compile a big book of all committee activities. It's probably electronic, and send it out to council. If you want to do an actual report from him, that would be.
Just like going up to the in-person
Yeah, of course.
council, that's what I mean.
No, I understand that. I'm just, but this is what we do in addition to that.
So,
I would push
thank you, appreciate that. But I guess I was thinking more of a public, go up and do a report on all the things that happened, what's been done, and.
I would say beginning of April, end of March. So we have one more meeting to kind of review his presentation as a group and kind of see it here,
Sure.
provide feedback, and then, let him what his feedback is.
So you need to look at your past reports and put the headings like this, because this coincides with the ordinance.
Do the headings and then organize everything under the headings.
Under the headings, because this is right out of the ordinance, okay? That created LCUAS, so that would help us, with presenting to the council what we're doing. Hopefully by then we hear something from RS people, or 501c3, at least we got it, and, one of those looks good, but you're not official until we send you the official statement. Anyways, okay, so are there any questions for Mr. Moreno?
I was just gonna add that organizing the notes in that way would be good also for future grant applications. Because they'll ask you specifically, what are you doing for these types of projects and these types of projects? So if you have the notes already organized like that, you can apply more easily.
So it's not only for the next meeting, but please go to your previous meetings and start just filling in the buckets.
Yeah.
Okay? You can put the dates on an Excel sheet, all of that stuff, but fill in the buckets according to this.
Mhm.
When I'm pointing at guys, it's this, because you all don't see it. Sorry, no, not recognizing me. Was this graphic that we did? I can go over for one moment. Anyways. Move on, yes, okay. I think number 8 has already been
Addressed it.
addressed, so can we take that off of the agendas?
Yes, ma'am.
And,
I'm writing the March agenda already.
oh, okay. The status is good, we've already talked about that, and then number 10 is also, can be taken off of the agenda, right? No?
No, we do. And we should have put a Rick wrote executive session, talk about his contract.
Oh, okay, like
Bobby?
for today,
Yeah, that should be,
an executive.
an executive session.
So do we call it out right now, or do we?
We can just adjust it.
Okay, so
The only thing is he would have to leave the room for a
Yes.
little bit.
for number 10, we're gonna go into executive session.
Mhm.
We need to,
Executive session, I think we should.
and would you step out just for a second?
Um,
Okay. Are we on?
Yes.
So we're out of executive session. No, nothing was voted on during executive session, so, with that said, is there, a motion on the item? Review executive director contract extension?
I'll make a motion to extend the executive director contract for an additional 6 months, effective immediately at the same rate.
Discussion? All those in favor? The ayes have it. If you accept, you can,
Yes, good.
okay. Great. Thank you very much. Moving on, Food Policy Council update. I guess, I wasn't at the meeting, but I got the meeting notes from Sabrina. If you can indulge me a little bit, and then I'll pass it over to you. You were there for the whole meeting, right?
Yes, you were here.
Let me just start off. Sabrina, this was her kind of, kudos to her, kudos, or however you say it, but she really did a great job. We were working, late into the evening, getting prepared for this meeting. It was the, amalgamation, accumulation of all the different, experts that we had, the discussions that we had over the 6 sectors of a healthy food system over the past few months. And we incorporated most of those ideas into what was the existing rough draft of the plan. And according to her, the meeting, and there was a lot of participation at the meeting. I think there was like 8 there was more than 8 people, but there was 8 or 9 different organizations that participated from the different people where the organizations of the people who were there. And there was a lot of notes, and we're working through them right now. The big bang of all of this is the conference that's going to be had as a final stroke to this plan, and you know, taking it up to council for approval. We've made contact. So after coming back or at the meeting at the Texas Department of Agriculture, the commissioner mentioned that these bills were created based on a food access study that was done by UTRGV. That study was given to the state December 31st, 2022, very recently. We called the policy director of the person who put the study together, and we're hoping that she's going to be the opening speaker for this conference. So it's a small conference, but it's going to, you know, kick off everything that we've been doing, because it's a real great, you know, communications opportunity for LCUAS as well, as a whole. So, if you add some color, please. He's our color commentator was actually there.
Yeah, we had good attendance.
Huh?
We had good attendance, and we were able to separate in teams and go over the 6 sectors, and everyone was able to share new ideas. And we also talked about the venue of the event. I remember Mayra offered Tammy you. This guy from the Gateway Clinic, he offered his auditorium too. So just remember,
Who clinic?
Gateway.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yes, I heard about the MIGA one.
David Cash, David Vasquez. Offered, he's working for Gateway Community. So he offered that there's an auditorium there,
Yep.
and then though Sabrina had mentioned La Posada.
So what did you think about the last meeting?
It was good. Like you mentioned, we all separated. Sabrina kind of gave us a little bit of summary of all the 6 different sectors, and then we ended up just going where you would like kind of see what you would think. There was something that you wanted to put in input, and there was a lot of communication and discussion with all the organizations like together. So it was really good.
Great. Of course, anybody's invited, so, you know.
And I think everybody was very excited for the conference as well. So yes, that's a big thing.
So with that said, if we can move on to the next item. General discussions, is there anybody who would like to add it?
I'd like to introduce, we have, I know that we've talked about her in the past, the position that we were looking at, and that's a parks planner. And so we wanted to bring her here today and introduce her. This is Elizabeth. She's our parks planner, works on designs for parks, irrigation systems, design and plants for gardens and such, and landscaping that we're doing in the parks. So
Please come to the food policy council. Okay.
this is definitely something that, it's beneficial for the city. It's also beneficial for us and as a community. So, yeah, we're excited to have her on board.
That's
This is
great.
exciting.
Yeah, that's really great. I'm excited. We have the city has a lot of land, and it can be productive in some way, and maybe, provide a way of bringing in the public or even either business or nonprofit to like make land more productive, or, planting trees that are fruit trees and allowing places for, food forests where people can come and, and make it part of a seasonal event and all of that. It'd be really great. There's actually a very beautiful, YouTube and podcast on the small town in England that just decided, this one lady, it was just a very small town, but this one lady decided, of course this is England where the weather's perfect all the time, lots of rain and all that, but, she just goes around, she formed a group, goes around planting, herbs and fruit trees and all sorts of different things with the city, with the little town, and people could just stop and pick stuff, and it was a really, I'm not suggesting that happened here, but, people are starting to do some interesting things with their small towns and larger municipalities. Certainly doing very big things, in larger municipalities, not really having to do with parks, but having to do with building, farms inside buildings, so, anyways, thank you, and please, there's so much in the plan that has to do with public lands and how to create policy around it concerning production, controlled, I'm not saying just put it out there, controlled production, it's really, I think you'll enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. I got to design a food forest in Austin. Pretty great.
A food forest?
The Festival Beach Food Forest.
Mhm.
Have you heard of it?
No.
Oh,
That sounds very interesting.
it was a 1 acre park that was just being mowed every day, and it was in front of a community garden that was existing, and they got a license agreement with the city to have that piece of land for X number of years. And so there was over 100 fruit trees planted and trails, and I did the design for free, so they didn't charge them, but it came out great, and it looks like a forest now. So
What was it
What's
like?
it called?
the Festival Beach Food Forest.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's food forests everywhere, but
So it'd be great to find out, if you can, from the city of Austin, the policy and the program that created that partnership to use that land that was city owned.
Yeah, it was, basically a license agreement is how you can get pieces of land, rent it out to people or, lease it for X number of years. And it's a good way to also collect income too. So parks can actually make some income off of that.
And how is it used exactly? So just, I guess, a quick, it's not, so what kind of fruit trees are on it?
All kinds of trees. There's definitely like oranges, lemons. They're like specific for the HB area, so they're like certain cultivars.
So when they're,
Palm trees.
so when they're ripe, there's product, what happens?
Well, they collected. Well, they also put out like crops, like cover crops, in order to grow. So those are the ones that usually get passed around. So they use there's like squashes. There's not squashes, but like carrots, radishes, peas. So those get distributed, and it's quite productive.
To the people who
To
tend to it? Or
Yeah, people who volunteer first, because they're the ones that are there, and then they give it to the local food bank, and so
Okay.
they donate to there.
So there's a nonprofit that's handling this.
Yes, it's a nonprofit.
And does it work like a community supported ag project where they build membership in boxes and they sell, or is it?
Well, the community garden is already, it has plots of land.
Mhm.
So all the equipment that is used at the area that's not fenced, because the food forest is not fenced, it's like free for anybody.
Sure.
Anybody can come use it. But all the equipment's inside of the community garden. And so, but the plots inside the community garden, those are rented out. So, but the food forest itself, it's like
It's
a free
open,
for all.
but it's managed by a nonprofit.
Yes.
Well, but there's the other part about it, could be managed by a nonprofit, but they can also get the product, box it and sell it. It's part of a membership plan. And that's another way of doing it. This particular one is doing it open. But like City of Detroit, all sorts of other places, they'll do, you all did it once with the farmer's market. You collect the food, you have a little you can either have a membership or people say, I'll pay you $25 for the box and they come and pick it up. I mean, that's another way of collecting. But, anyways, it's all, as it was very clearly pointed out to everybody in the room, these are all, when it comes to food deserts, it's about small things happening all over the place. To have a blanket solution is almost impossible, but to put the infrastructure in place, either from municipal policy or any other way, so that these things can flourish. Best thing that city can help with is water. And that's not something. That's another story.
Another meeting.
Anyway, so, I guess, is that it?
I got
That's
one
great.
more comment.
Yes.
So I had actually had a conversation with Jose the other day, that I had been talking with Job Corps.
Mhm.
Raquel Lopez, one of the high folks there. They're very interested in working with LCUAS as far as creating some kind of job skills program with their kids where they could support manpower for the
Oh,
campsite or
fantastic.
anything. So they are very, very interested. They had an open house this morning, which I attended. So I'm gonna follow up with an email. I'm gonna BCC you on that email, so hopefully we can get something going with them if that's.
That sounds fantastic.
Kind of go. Yes. Yeah.
Also, I did have a meeting with the AgriLife Extension, and they're also interested in partnering with LCUAS. They have a lot of resources and they have a lot of tools, I think, that we can also partner up with them. They would like to also do field trips and just different things that they want to share with the community, but AgriLife Extension alone, they already offer a lot of information for free to the community, and they said that if we wanted to even get like a special, guest speaker, we can always get them through their program for free or many different services that they can offer. So I think if we also partner or we'll connect, LCOAs with them, maybe to see what we can, anything.
Do they have another agent for this?
Who are you talking to?
Aileen Cifuentes,
They work
Cynthia
together
Corovino.
together when we had this, guy, and we worked together to develop the gardening course in Canseco. But then the agent left, so I don't know.
So right now it's Eileen and Cynthia, and I think they're new, excited. They wanna like get a lot of things done. So I think it's great right now for them to come and help and partner. We did have a farmer's market February 11th. It was really good. I was a little bit hesitant because of the weather. I thought no one was gonna show up, but it ended up being a really good market. We did, LCOA sold out.
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
Cernoto.
Yeah, so they have been selling out January, February, and our next farmer's market is March 18th.
I was there.
I know.
A ver, Ben, are there gonna be any sales, anything at the garden? I have a lot of blood oranges and oranges.
I need blood oranges everybody asks for blood oranges at the farmer's market.
Like, and they're pretty much almost ready.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
I mean, we can.
go pick it up for the next,
Well,
But it's March 18th.
Yeah.
is that too late?
For me, it's a month. That might be,
No, pero podemos organizar con el jardín.
Oh, yeah.
Before the farmers.
something.
So,
They also, I need to go back to my emails and stuff, cause I know somebody was asking if they could go sell, like, they wanting to do like a little market at LCOAs and go sell products, so I think that would be,
We're open to that. I mean, if we have like 4 vendors, we're good.
I know Juju's wanted to do that. Juju's
Yeah.
also wants to, be part of that as well. There's a lot of people actually very interested, but everybody asking for your blood oranges.
Okay.
Mhm.
Is, so, anybody else wanna share any general discussion? Great.
yeah, just the next meeting would be the 9th or the 23rd? The 9th, so we could have it before farmer's market? Or,
Yeah,
okay,
March.
okay, and Jose, you could start drafting up your presentation for council. I recommend April 3rd.
April 3rd? Sounds good to me.
Okay, and, Maria said we'll put it on the, or get Tiffany to put it on the council agenda.
March 9th, same time?
Yes, same place.
Yeah. So, are we good to adjourn?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you all. This was a great meeting. Appreciate your